Can you see my screen? Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
So, as most of you may well know, fashion industry has a super negative impact on our Earth with a number of different problems. I just listed a few of them here, again, to keep it brief. The first one is the water pollution. 20% of the industrial water pollution comes from textiles treatment and dyeing. Wastewater discharge. 90% of the waters in developing countries is discharged into rivers without being treated. Water consumption. Textile industry consumes 1.5 trillion liters of water per year, and there's 200 tons of fresh water needed to dye just 1 ton of fabric. 1 ton of fabric equates to about 5,000 garments, to put it into perspective. And at the same time, there are 750 million people with no access to drinking water. Waste accumulation. 5.2% of the waste in our landfills are of textiles. 85% of all textiles, and that's approximately 17 million tons, go to landfills each single year. And we only recycle 15% of our clothing or donate them. Chemicals. We use a kilo of chemicals per kilo of textiles. So you figure that out. And a kilo of textiles makes up maybe 2 or 3 t-shirts. 23% of all the chemicals produced in the world are used for the textile industry. And when we say 100% natural fabric, 27% of that fabric in weight is consisting of chemicals. Rainforest destruction. There are 70 million trees cut down each year for clothes. 30% of rayon and viscose clothing come from endangered and ancient forests. Putting all these together, now we're at a time, talking about the pandemic, we're at a time where we're more conscious about sustainability and treating our earth more gently. How can we be a conscious consumer in terms of clothing? We need to choose organic, natural, semi-synthetic fibers. We need to prefer reclaimed fabrics, recycled fabrics. We need to choose clothes that are made in countries with stricter environmental regulations. We need to buy clothes manufactured with renewable energy. We need to choose fibers with low water consumption, like linen and recycled fibers. We need to buy less, we need to buy better, and we need to recycle. And we need to choose sustainable brands. Talking about sustainable brands, I'm coming back to UpSportif. UpSportif was founded in New York at the end of 2020, just during the pandemic. And we're aiming to offer sustainable and trendy sportswear and streetwear that fit the hybrid lifestyle of a woman on the go. UpSportif and sustainability. First of all, we started this project with the belief that style, sustainability, and affordability can coexist, because most of the time when you buy a sustainable brand, it's either too expensive or too boring. Or when you wanted to buy style, you can't really find a sustainable brand that offers the latest trends or styles. So we have a few points that we follow along through our production process. First of all, we design around sustainability. We only use dead stock fabrics, reclaimed fabrics, and that means fabrics produced in excess for other brands and have not been used, and they would be ending up in landfills if they weren't used. So we just kind of cook with whatever's in the kitchen. First, we evaluate what we have in hand in terms of fabrics and materials that are leftovers, and then we start our design process around what we have available. We use sustainable materials from fabric to packaging. We only use eco-friendly, recyclable, recycled packaging, even to ship our merchandise. We have an eco-friendly manufacturing plant that we work with, and we're in full control of our production. All of our garments are produced in this facility that's powered exclusively by solar energy. The factory has a rainwater recycling system, wastewater recycling system, eco-friendly machinery, low energy lighting, the whole 9 yards. It's a state-of-the-art facility. And connected to that, we're also very adamant about ethical production, which we know is valid for the factory that we're working with. The workers are paid above living wages with full benefits. They're working in a state-of-the-art, clean, super modern facility. I've been to their lunchroom many times, and it's just a pleasure to be working there. And the factory that we're working with also is very adamant on women empowerment. They do have 80% of their workforce consisting of women, including white collar and blue collar workers. And they're one of the co-signers of the UN agreement for women's empowerment. Attached to our sustainability practices, we believe in fair pricing. Instead of offering deep discounts on overpriced items, we just want to be fairly priced through the year and offer whatever the real price is for that garment. Even though our fabrics are premium and the workmanship is absolutely impeccable, we do not overcharge. So that's one of the points that we pay close attention to. We also offer 2 seasons per year instead of 4 seasons or 6 seasons like most of the other fast fashion companies do, in order to reduce our carbon print, our shipping process, and everything else. Also, for the longevity of the garments, we offer a great workmanship, and the garments will last you a long time. Because the more we wear the garments, the gentler we are on the earth. So that's the mentality of our brand in brief. I just want to show you a little lookbook of our styles. This is our spring summer collection for this year. We officially launched with this collection. We also make only comfortable clothes, by the way. So the first one is what you're seeing me wear here. And sweatshirts, t-shirts, dresses, pants. When I say creative design, I'm talking about cooking with what we have in the kitchen. For example, if we have a little bit of this color, do you see my cursor? For example, if we have a little bit of this cuff trim in stock and a lot of this fabric and this trim, then we design a sweatshirt with one contrast sleeve. It's stylish, and it's also utilizing what we have in hand. So these are some of the styles that we have available this season. And we offer our styles on upsportive.com for online shopping only. That would conclude my presentation, and I thank you very much for listening.
Shada, that was beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
I never knew so much about clothing.
Yeah,
I will have to really figure out what I'm wearing. I know. I never. Thank you. That was amazing. That was just so amazing. Yeah.
Can you believe you need to use 2,700 liters of water just to make one t-shirt. So that would,
I can't believe that.
yes. I mean, I've been in the fashion industry for over 25 years, and I just got to be aware of all these facts in the past maybe 10 years, the harmful effects of the industry, because you never really think about where those clothes come from, who made them. There's a movement called "Who Made My Clothes?" Or "I Made Your Clothes."
No, never heard about Who Made My Clothes. Yes.
Yeah, so you have to kind of know who makes your clothes. You can't just wear clothes at the cost of other people's lives or the environment. So that's our whole mentality.
Wow. That was amazing, Shada. I mean,
Yes.
this transforms everything for me. So now, in spite of looking for the color, the size, the designer, and the price, I have to look at also what goes into the item. I mean, it makes my search but I mean, this is amazing. I had never given that kind of consideration.
I'll let you know when we come up with a men's line.
Oh boy.
Yes.
And now you tell me it doesn't exist. Oh boy. Okay.
Okay, so I just wanted to address that. Why VAI? Are you speaking? Because I saw you coming in and out a couple of times. Can we see you? Can we see you? Can you turn your video on? Okay, we have a lot of people and they're probably watching, so that's fine. This is a media event. We're broadcasting it on BrightsideGlobalTrade.org. It's a new TV online channel, and we hope that you will buy some of these amazing clothes and snap a picture so we know that you're listening and watching. And we have our poet, and if you buy her book and you're reading poetry, take a video and share it in the comment section so we know you're watching. So introduce yourself. Thank you. I saw a lot of effort going in coming out of the Zoom. Yes. You have to turn your icon on for sound.
No, I'm a little early for a meeting at 1.
That's fine. Let's welcome. Introduce us. Yeah, tell us who you are.
I'm Vi House, and I'm a photographer. And I'm going to be here for the next session at 1 o'clock. But I came early.
Okay.
I'd like to be late.
That's fine. We welcome you being early. Thank you. Thank you for joining us today. Okay, so Elton, over to you. We're going to do a round table. Is there anybody that I have missed? Anyone who's supposed to be speaking? Going once, going twice, going 3 times. Before you go, everybody who's here, please make sure you drop your emails because we have some amazing prizes for you. We have a copy of Dr. John's book, and I'm trying to see. Yeah, there we go. Eat, Chew, and Live. That will be mailed to you if you win one of our prizes. And we will be doing the raffle drawing at 1:30 today. I also have a meditation book from Dr. Kim. And this is absolutely the most delightful book I have ever read. It relaxes you, and it's all about gardening and the earth and some beautiful quotations that will bless you. And of course, the big famous book, African American Journey of a Family. Can't see it, but that's the next book. Journey, Love, Faith, Strength, and Determination at 1 o'clock with Grover Washington and the Peace Corps group that went to Kenya. All right, Elton, it's your turn.
Wow, that took more than I needed, but it's okay. Listen, thank you all for being here. Now we're going to engage on something a little more greater requirements. We need to take this opportunity to collectively consider all of you, because I need you to take an inventory. You've got this opportunity now to see how you can impact our environment. I'm going to request that you all do something. Now, that means, okay, what are we going to do? Uh, we all can play a role. All can play an important role in how we transform our Earth and Mother Earth. She needs your help. She needs your help. I mean, this is a very important time that we consider because global warming is real. The storms that we are facing are real. The people who are devastated by the storms are real. The people who lose their lives because of the storms are real. The homes that were devastated are real. So we need to take an active engagement on what we can and are willing to commit to reevaluate our carbon footprint. So before we get to that, I want to go around the room. I want contributors, each one of us, to say something about our perspectives of global warming or our perspectives on our environment and Mother Earth, and also how you feel about it. You know, because I do want to take your perspectives on it. This is a very important time. It's a roundtable. Roundtable. I mean, I don't know if you've been impacted personally by any kind of considerations of our environment. But I'll say this way. There's a lot that can and must be done from recycling. You can't, if any of you do recycle. I mean, our city services here allow for recycling, but it's not done to a huge extent. There's the brown bag, cardboard, glass, and all of that recycling, plus the traditional refuse. It does a fair job, but maybe it's your requirement and responsibility to do a better job, to get the city services where you live to do a better job. And then there's such a thing as how they restructure the waste, in your city government. I mean, whether they just take it out to some land territory and turn it over, or you might live in New York where they put it on a barge and send it out to the ocean or something like that. I don't know what they do now, or those are considerations that are our responsibility. We have to be good global citizens. We have to be. Your children's lives depend on it. And then what about clean air? What are we doing to maintain better quality air? I mean, I don't know what considerations you might want to look at. Whether you're talking about an average mobile or average car, depending upon how old the car is, puts out its share of carbon stuff in the environment. Sludge. I mean, that's not going to be good for breathing. So I mean, and now you got the electric car, and I don't know, maybe you're thinking about getting an electric car. Maybe you have a hybrid that burns both, fuel and hydrogen, or maybe it just burns gas or carbon fuel or electricity. Those are things that we need to really put on the table, and this is a roundtable about that. And I'd love your considerations, a dialogue regarding those things. And and also there's such a things as starting your own garden, growing your own food, or maybe you run a farm where you grow volumes of food for other people, and they can eat healthier because of your activity. Or maybe you're connected to some farms that do that exact thing. Because getting people to eat healthier foods that don't require processing and mechanizations, that people can eat and you can accumulate, and it's based on simple actions. And here's what I'd like for you to consider, and then I'm going to go around the room and ask your comment on them. On a cloudless day, think about this now. Listen very carefully. Listen very carefully. On a cloudless day, where you can see nothing but the brightness of the environment, and you have the chance to take an opportunity, or take a chance, have a chance, take an opportunity. When you have the opportunity to just reflect, and just reflect on the limitlessness of who you are. Now this is very big. And I don't know if you've ever had the opportunity to do that, but sitting out in outdoors on a cloudless day to just close your eyes and reflect on the limitlessness of who you are and what you can do, and the value of that, the value in that, it gives you the capacity to do so many different things. Now, just to be able to simply be inspired by the reflections like that, you know, and to be able to pass those on to other people is a big deal. But it's got to be done on a cloudless day when there's no weather. It's just the sunshine and fresh air. That's when you come to know the power of the earth. That's when the air doesn't have a stench in it. It's clean air and clean view. It's not smoky with contaminations from a factory. How important is that? How important is that to you? So I'm not going to call anybody out, but I'd like for each of us to say something. Each of us to say something. That in itself is the power of this time, Earth Day. So, who wants to go first?
Can I?
Yeah, sure, please.
Yeah. When you talked about a cloudless day, it reminded me of around this time last year when planes were off the air. There was nothing but nature outside. I used to take walks just around this time, and the nature would start blooming with flowers, and the trees were getting green, and everything was actually, while we were closing down, the nature was popping up.
Opening up, right.
And I almost thought maybe this is better for the nature. Maybe humankind, not maybe, but I truly believe that the humankind is probably the worst kind that has ever been on this earth in terms of the earth's health. So we have to change. We have to change this. And looking at the blue sky, open sky, it makes me realize how small I am. But at the same time, I can also make small changes to accumulate into a bigger change with people alike. So I think a pandemic was a rude awakening for all of us, and it gave a lot of us who are thinkers an opportunity to sit and question ourselves, question our lives, question how we treat the earth. Those are my thoughts on what you just said.
That's wonderful. I appreciate that. It's absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect. Thank you, Shedna.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else?
Bill Peckney here.
Okay.
As an atmospheric scientist sitting outside in a nice, warm, cloudless day, what I think about is that sunshine coming from the sun and what it does for us. I think about all that water. I mentioned it earlier, the 71% of the Earth's surface is covered by water, and what all that water does for us. And then I think about what gravity does for us. And I apologize, I'm a scientist, so this is the way I think. And
Sure.
And gravity, when I say gravity, I'm talking about planetary motion, or the way we orbit the sun, the way our tilted axis orbits the sun, the way the orbit is not always circular, it's changing from elliptical to circular. And what I'm a small drop in the bucket compared to Mother Nature's huge forces. And I think about that in terms of our climate. And I think that Mother Nature's in control a lot more than we are. However, The other side of that climate issue is pollution. And we definitely need to be good stewards of our universe. And that's what we in the human race are all about, is protecting our planet. And we need to do that. And I think that what we should do is then focus on mitigating pollution in our Earth, on our Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Thank
Very
you.
good. Thank you, Bill. That was quite significant. Absolutely perfect. I really appreciate your insight there. My. Who's next?
Bill, do you have a copy of your book? Because I really was so impressed when I read your bio and I saw your book, and I think people really need to know about this from a scientist's point of view. And I just
Okay,
want
Claire,
to
got
applaud
you
you
there.
for that. If you can show it to us, that's it. Yeah.
Sure. The title of the book is A Tale of Two Climates, One Real, One Imaginary. It's a nonfiction book, and this is what it looks like. And I wrote it over the past 5 years that I've been retired. And it's available out there. If anybody wants to get a copy, they can contact, and would like a signed copy, you can contact me directly at bill@twoclimates.com, or if you can buy it off of Amazon, just type in the title of the book and it'll go straight there. The book is a nonfiction. It's intended to be a big picture so that it's readable and easy to understand by everyone. It's not a science textbook at any stretch of the imagination. And the whole point is to be able to get the side of this climate story that's not out there as much as the alarmist side, to get the whole story out there and plug a gap on the bookshelves, so to speak, so that everybody can think critically and decide for themselves what they believe in.
Very good. Thank you, Bill. Who's next? We're going to run this to the end here because I need everybody's participation and no other, just responding to this question, please. Please continue.
Well, I'll go. Just thanks, Bill. It's good to hear. I haven't read the book, but it'd be nice to hear a balanced perspective because we are overwhelmed sometimes by the alarmist views, and I have some skepticism about that, I will say. As a Christian, though, I feel it is our responsibility. You know, God's given us a beautiful world to live in, and we have a responsibility to take care of it. And so I'm driving a 2005 Toyota 4Runner with 300,000 miles. And I'm thinking, you know, maybe it's time to get a hybrid. So that's one of the things I'm thinking about. My son has a hybrid now. He gets 400 miles a gallon because he very seldom uses the gas engine. And the other thing, you know, that's another thing that I really love about the company I work for, that they're really focused on taking care of the environment. That was always from the very beginning, that was a concern that Dr. Shackley had, that anything he did, anything his company did would not harm the environment in any way. And that's why I use the cleaning products, just because of the tons of waste that do not go to the landfill because it's so concentrated. So, you know, that's what I do. And in terms of what am I doing today to help to take care of my environment, and I'm thinking about for tomorrow in terms of even transportation.
Very good. Thank you for that, Jerry. Thank you so much. Next, who's next?
Okay, Brian here. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was listening to the previous speaker, and they were mentioning that how the new normal, which has happened because of the pandemic, has led to a lot of regeneration of nature. So I come back to my question is like, why do we look at, development as a very important aspect, you know, when many times development leads to actually leads to degeneration of the environment or to the degeneration of the climate. So in many cases, actually, we have not addressed, the root causes of the problem. We always looking at the symptoms. Like I read recently about, Elon Musk saying that there is this, because of the ozone layer depletion, we can develop some kind of equipment which will radiate the sun's rays away from the earth. Now, that's a fantastic thing. It will save us, but you're looking at the symptom and trying to find a solution. What is the cause of the greenhouse gas, and the reduction in the ozone layer? That's what we have to look at and see how we can, reduce that this depletion of the ozone layer. So these are the things. And another point which Ken Peters mentioned was about, the food gap, which many times it's not just the food gap, but it's the food distribution. Like here in India, we have enough food to feed our billion people. There's no shortage of food, but it's just that we don't, it's not reaching out, it's not distributed. Probably the grains are rotting in the warehouses. So it's a man-made, disaster which we have created ourselves. And, so it's, we have to look at what from history also. And Bill mentioned that, we should look in the rearview mirror, and that's truly very important because in this pandemic, in this pandemic, had we listened, had we looked what happened 100 years back, in terms of the first wave and second, we would be ready today to face the consequences, of waves. But we are not yet ready because we haven't learned from the past, our mistakes. So it's very important that in order to move forward, we learn from history and from whatever mistakes and we prepare ourselves for a better world and a better future. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. That was very insightful. I really appreciate that. All right. So who's next? As we're evaluating, taking into consideration Earth Day, the symbolism for the catastrophic loss of life, the catastrophic storms, and taking a consideration for a cloudless day so that we can reflect on the power of the day and what it can mean for us. Who's next? Come now. Come now. It's a reflection on Earth Day. Share with us.
Elton, I'll just make a quick comment. A lot of what I heard today, I sort of had known in the back of my mind there was a problem or had some brief knowledge, but a lot of what I heard today went to that next level of education for me. Whether it was Shada talking about the clothing industry, that was just unbelievable. I never knew these things. Maybe I knew that fabrics weren't made from a lot of natural things, but I didn't know the extent of how much water it took just to make a t-shirt. I mean, that's awful. What it's done for me, it's made me really try to reflect on what I'm using. I need to do a better job of recycling. And I'm like you, Elton. I live in a rural area. Recycling is not as prominent as it should be, unfortunately. A lot of people take things to the landfill and they don't really try to recycle them. And even the dump, as we call it, doesn't really do a good job of recycling those products we bring to them. But I'm in government now. I'm an elected official in my county, so I can certainly now take this knowledge, right, and take it to the next level and inform the public and inform the leadership of the county that we've got to do more. We owe it to the planet. We owe it to the people that live on the planet, the animals that live on the planet, the fish that swim in the sea, the quality of the air, the quality of our water. We if we're going to live for a long time, we got to protect this beautiful place we call home. And
Yeah.
it's up to us. We can't rely on
Mhm.
government. We can't rely on the guy next door. It starts with us. Every single one of us has to make a change from this event going forward. Buy cleaner products. Don't buy the clothing that's made, where the t-shirt takes gallons and gallons and gallons of water. Buy the products from Shada's company. All the things we've heard here today. There's small changes we can make. Jerry just mentioned he's thinking about buying a hybrid vehicle. That's an outstanding idea. There's little things, not terrible, things to do that on an individual level, I think we can all undertake going forward. This day forward, say, I'm going to use cleaner products. I'm not going to buy that clothing made in that terrible factory where people are probably abused and not paid a decent wage. And we know where those places are. I'm going to try and use less gasoline. I'm going to try and buy a hybrid vehicle. Again, it's been eye-opening for me. I'm so glad you all brought these speakers together to educate us and give us a plan going forward. Thank you for doing this, Elton and Claire. Great job.
Thank you, Donald. Great comments. I really appreciate those. So we all have a role to play and responsible role. And so I encourage you, give us your thoughts though. I want to hear from you. We've gotten a few people, but come on, tell us. You have a perspective and understand now this, we are of the perspective that every person's, perspective and position and voice counts. That we, nobody's right or wrong. We just want to hear from you so that we understand how you think and feel and what impact your thoughts and perspective might have on us going forward. So share with us. Share. I don't have much more time.
Can I ask?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
And don't take this the wrong way. The question I'm curious about is, we're talking about moving to electric vehicles. Is there a long-term plan for the disposal of the batteries? In other words, on every solution to a current problem has created an unintended consequence. I'm curious as to what are we doing in the way of long-term thinking about disposal of batteries or reuse of them or whatever?
If I can speak to that for a moment, to say that one, obviously, we can't really maneuver fast enough to electric cars without having enough charging stations nationwide across the country and highways. But batteries themselves are part of a plan. They're very volatile, these lithium batteries. It was, I can't remember, just recently on the news where there was a fire somewhere and it took them all day to put out it was a Tesla that it was on autopilot and crashed into a tree. I don't know if anyone saw that. They were in the back seat. It's hard to believe. But yeah, that is part and parcel with Biden's plan that as we expand, there are, I'm only privy to this because of somebody I know who's inside the administration in terms of EPA, that there is a plan to have to deal with that reality that when you transition to electric cars,
no, I'm talking about the disposal of the batteries. I spent my life as
that's what I'm talking about. I don't have, but I asked that question. We go to so many cars that are electric and we start expanding. What are we going to do with the disposal of the batteries?
Yeah.
And all I was told was that was in consideration to understand that lithium batteries and all batteries, but lithium particularly, because they were focused on this the EPA thing on how we dispose of batteries and the electric cars and the expansion. It'll be just like that's it. Anyway, that's all.
Yeah, that's an unresolved and continuing area of research. Batteries. My career of 50 years has involved high current batteries all along the way. And back in 1969, when I started, big current batteries were a problem then. Of course, the low current cell phones have resolved themselves over the years. And hopefully these big current batteries that power the electric vehicles and our backups for whatever still need work on them. Yeah, I'm sure there's a plan, but we've got to get that plan to turn into reality still. And
Well,
that's an excellent question. What do we do?
it
with
is a great question. It is. I appreciate your comments too with that, Bill. Now, I only have about 2 to 3 more minutes. So if you want to have an added value of your perspective, and then we'll move on to something else. So if you have something to say about this, now consider. Now, this is what we're discussing for the most part. I'm asking you to reflect while you're sitting outside one day on a cloudless day, as the breeze is gently blowing across your brow, and that now it offers you a moment of silence to reflect, and to reflect of the limitlessness of your capacity, what you can do and be, because the earth has made it, and what it offers. And I'm asking your perspective, one, and then we're going to move to how do we protect these things. This is what's critical. How do we protect those moments? Many of you have had more than others. Some haven't had those moments, and I understand. We work. We are professionals. We do what we do, but this is Earth Day, and we're taking this time to reflect because we're trying to get more of those days. So I'm asking, just tell me what you think, what your thoughts are, where you are, and also if you want to move to it, what can you or we do to keep more of them? Okay. If you're not, if I'll leave it there. Well, I got 21 chats too. Let's see now, 2 chats, and see what people have said. But now, if we don't ask the questions, what will happen is somebody else will ask them and answer them too. I mean, because all it takes is one or 2 or 3 catastrophic storms, and that the question that was put to you to take action with and for, you no longer have the right and capacity to do anything about. So this is our time. I want to make sure that you are considering, and this is a great opportunity. And please continue now. Now I'm sharing this with you. This is a portion of our activities. We do 12 programs a year, but this one is generated for posterity. And so we are asking for support. If you can help us with the support going forward for next year, to reach more people, to talk to more people, and to get more done. And portions of what we raise will go to activity. And there are issues that face us around the world, getting the right supply of water to people, the right supply of clean air, the right also labor and work so that people can live and protect and shield their families. And so those things are inadequate, and we are so thankful to be here. We're so thankful that we can offer as a support mechanism. Now, if there are no questions, other questions, just raise your hand or just send a chat or something like that, so I can acknowledge you. But I mean, we have so many things at our disposal, so many things that we can do, so many things that we have the power for.